Welcome aboard, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health, fresh back from a road trip. Park City, Utah, where we did 14 hours of video filming for an upcoming series of infomercials of sorts. Keep your fingers crossed. I'll tell you when those are going to be airing. Lots of stuff happening here in Youngevity Nation. A lot of people picking up the ball here and fast tracking Dr. Wallach's message of health recovery through science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. Why? Because nobody knows what we know, and everybody needs to know what we know, and nobody does. I have an insider subscription service on my website, whether you're a Youngevity member or not. If you're suffering with a chronic health condition, if you're suffering with any type of health condition whatsoever, honestly, even if you think you're healthy, you need to get a clue. Information is a life-changing phenomenon. I have over 100 hours of archived health webinars available for your immediate access right now on my website, drglidden.com. Click on the Become an Insider button. Sign up for my monthly subscription service. Cancel at any time, by the way, and you will have immediate access to life-saving information which explains in relatively easy to understand format the MD's interpretation of the process that drives your condition, right? How the MDs think about type 2 diabetes, what the MDs think about arthritis, what the MDs think about obesity and fibromyalgia and infertility, what the MDs do for it, why 99 times out of 100 that's just crazy, and then most importantly, what we do for it, what we recommend you do, and what we recommend you do in the context of this arena is not to treat disease. We don't treat disease here on the radio program. In my private practice, I do, but not in the context of this radio program. In the context of this radio program, I recommend therapeutics you can start with immediately, the intention of which are to support and promote your body's ability to optimize its structure and function, and that it beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. Here's an update for my radio show, emailed to me by one of my Dr. Glidden insiders. Teresa says, here's an update on my father-in-law that had a partial toe removal because a foot doctor going too deep while removing a callus. My father-in-law requested his medical records and went to see a lawyer. While looking through his records, he saw that the foot doctor had changed them. My father-in-law goes to the foot doctor every 2 months for a routine appointment of toenail cutting and callus care. The foot doctor had said that my father-in-law went to him complaining of a sore toe. There was nothing wrong with his toe when he went. It was about a month after the appointment that his toe became infected, and he went back to get some antibiotics for it. The foot doctor noted that on the return visit, the toe was feeling much better and everything was hunky-dory. The lawyer told my father-in-law that it would cost more to sue this guy than he would get, plus he would need to have 2 other doctors testify against the foot doctor, and that my father-in-law would have to pay them $15,000 each. How is that for our medical care system? Let's protect each other and screw the patient, or so the MDs say. So every chance we get, we're telling others not to go to this foot doctor, and the fact that he falsifies his records. This out of the great state of Iowa. I mean, that's just crazy, right? Isn't that just crazy? But that's the way that it goes. It's good to be king. When you are king, you can do whatever you want, and you can get away with whatever you want because, well, you are the king. And this situation stands in boldface. I had a good opportunity this weekend, a privilege, quite frankly, to hang out with Dr. Wallach for 3 days in a row. We were right next to each other during the filming process. I was interviewing Dr. Wallach, listening to his answers, and we were having conversations about everything from soup to nuts, right, regarding medical care here in the United States, medical research, and quite frankly, the delivery of medicine all around the world, of course, from the proper perspective, which is the holistic medical perspective. And we some very interesting things came to light. It drove home to me more deeply than ever the simple fact of the matter that Dr. Wallach is brilliant. He's a genius. He is. Dr. Wallach's knowledge base about the pathophysiology of disease is unrivaled by any physician I have ever met. He won't admit to it, but I think Dr. Wallach has an almost photographic memory, if not a photographic memory. His knowledge and understanding of pathophysiology, right? His ability to look at a slide section of a diseased tissue and tell you exactly what it is. I mean, it's really quite remarkable, Dr. Wallach's the breadth, depth, and width of Dr. Wallach's clinical experience and also understanding of pathophysiology. I mean, it's Dr. Wallach is the man. No kidding. That's one thing that I really became a solid block in my consciousness now after these 72 hours. It just reinforced for me, spending time with Dr. Wallach reinforced for me his knowledge base and really made all of the doubts that I'd ever had about his perspective just vanish into the wind and disappear like a thief in the night. As far as I'm concerned, if Dr. Wallach says jump, you should say how high. Because, Doctor, I'm still waiting for him to be wrong. I am still waiting for him to be wrong about something. And, the day that I'm able to catch Dr. Wallach up on some pathophysiological thing, on some medical nutrition thing, that's going to be one of the proudest days of my life. Don't know that it's ever going to happen, though, by the way. But, we do what we can do. And we lift each other up and we move each other forward. And so I must reinforce to my listening audience, if you're a fan of mine, appreciate it very much. I do what I can, and, I'm here for the duration. Because my skill set is being able to describe for people relatively, seemingly complex biological phenomena in easy to understand terms. But honest to goodness, if I seem tall to you, it's because I'm standing on Dr. Wallach's shoulders. Dr. Wallach is the man. My knowledge base doesn't even come close to his. I am quite fortunate to have the great opportunity to be able to mentor with Dr. Wallach over the last 4.5 years. What a wonderful opportunity. Doc and I were talking about cultural myths and how they perpetuate into the society, and it becomes reality by consensus, right? Everybody agreed less than 100 years ago that women were not smart enough to vote. Everybody was wrong. Before that, of course, childhood labor, that's a valid economic necessity. You can't have a thriving economy unless you put the kids to work. Everybody was wrong. And then before that, the earth is flat, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, pick your cultural myth. There are hundreds of them throughout the annals of time. One of the things that we're up against here, in addition to the ridiculous notion that the MD is the undisputed emperor of the field of medicine and that healing is a complicated, sophisticated process, both of which are flat-out lies, is another interesting myth that revolves around genetics and is brought to boldface with our understanding of Alzheimer's. Years ago, in his most famous audio cassette tape, Dead Doctors Don't Lie, Dr. Wallach made the statement that the symptoms of Alzheimer's, the symptomatic expression of Alzheimer's disease was able to be changed dramatically, noticeably, and measurably with the delivery of vitamin supplementation. And the article went on to say, well, Dr. Wallach, by the way, was quoting from this article. And the article was published, I think, by the New England Journal of Medicine or the Journal of the American Medical Association, I forget which. And then Dr. Wallach, because of his pathophysiological background and his immense scientific knowledge, made the conclusion, therefore, that Alzheimer's isn't genetic. Because if you can modify it with a vitamin, it's not genetic. Every state in the United States sued Dr. Wallach for propagating false and misleading information and trying to sell vitamins. Dr. Wallach, of course, was exonerated by all 50 states. But this isn't the point. The point is that this whole concept of genetics is what the MDs are using now as a scapegoat to make them look better than they really do look. Because their therapeutics have failed completely, and instead of revisiting their own position, their own point of view, instead of looking to their own house, instead of removing the mote from their eye, they attempt to remove the log from your eye, the log, by the way, which doesn't exist. So rather than blame themselves to take a real strong look at what they're doing, they blame you. It's not the doctor's fault. It's got to be your fault. You have the Alzheimer's gene. You have the obesity gene. You have the type 2 diabetes gene. You have the arthritis gene. You have the whatever gene, right? This is what they pass off. Everything is genetic now. Everything under the sun. And so it is with Alzheimer's. You can call up 100 medical doctors today and ask them what causes Alzheimer's, and they'll tell you it's genetic. There were 2 studies recently published, and I'll get you those references by the end of the show today. I forget where they were published, but very recent stuff. And they both showed that you could dramatically, in one case, 78% of Alzheimer's patients who underwent vitamin supplementation, I believe it was essential fatty acids, omega-3 essential fatty acids, 78% had remarkable improvement in their Alzheimer's symptoms, And then there was an article, I think it was in Newsweek magazine a couple of months ago, 7 habits that you can do right now, 7 things that you can do to reduce your risk of Alzheimer's disease. Well, I thought it was genetic. If it's genetic, you can't manipulate it with diet or lifestyle or nutritional supplements, right? I mean, if it's genetic. So if you're telling me now that there's 7 things that I can do to reduce my chances of getting Alzheimer's, it's not genetic. And yet the myth persists because the medical marketplace is monopolized. It ain't nothing but bad news from the MDs, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned right here for some good news. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health. So the basic rule of thumb here is, right, from the proper perspective, everything makes sense. Medicine, the way that it's delivered here, and really science, the way that it's delivered here is so closely embedded with money that it's hard for scientists to be objective, right? And, it's hard for cultures to change. It's hard for people who have devoted their entire life to studying a certain field all of a sudden to understand, well, we've got new information now, boys and girls, and the stuff that I spent my entire life advocating is no longer valid or true. So even when science moves on, a lot of people get left behind because they're just too cowardly in order to grasp the truth and, admit that they were wrong. And so it is, especially with this whole concept of genetics. So here's what I want everybody in the listening audience to do. The next time that a medical doctor tells you that your disease is genetic, I want you to ask him which gene it is. And when he can't tell you, I want you to also ask him, well, doc, if it's genetic, if my condition is genetic, if my type 2 diabetes is genetic, how is it possible that I can modify the expression of the diabetic condition by altering my diet? I mean, if I have Down syndrome, then you can't alter the manifestation of my Down syndrome by changing what I'm going to eat. Right? So if my condition really is genetic, then if my type 2 diabetes really is genetic, then how can I make a difference in it by doing anything else, by doing anything? I mean, nothing I'm aware of can change the color of my eyes, right? You know, internally, and I'm not talking about colored contact lenses, right? I mean, that's genetic. And see what happens to the MD. And watch them obfuscate and back up. They'll be backing up intellectually so aggressively you'll hear that beepity beep beep that happens when, the mail truck backs up. Also, if you want to have fun with your MD, ask them to define health. Ask them to define health and watch them struggle intellectually to come up with something, and then they'll say, well, huff and puff, oh, health, well, that's the absence of disease. And by the way, you don't have good health and you need 67 pharmaceutical medications. That's what you need. 67, nurse, come on in here. We need to write 67 prescription medications, one for intellectual stupidity. And I'd like a psych evaluation immediately on this patient, please. Huff and puff. Right? So, really, just ask simple questions. In my book, The MD Emperor Has No Clothes, which you can get for $9, $10, $9.99, I think, and you can download it to your computer immediately if you want the softback version. We'll mail that to you. That's $20, right? Check out my website, drglidden.com. I have a chapter in there about cancer, with 10 questions that every cancer patient needs to ask their oncologist. But I was thinking about this the other day. Quite frankly, it's 10 questions that every patient with a chronic disease needs to ask their doctor. Really, doctor, I have arthritis? You say, I need knee replacement surgery. Well, that's interesting. Are there any therapeutics? Is the knee replacement surgery going to cure my arthritis? Is it going to cure my arthritis? Well, if it's not going to cure it, why are you giving it to me? Are you telling me you don't know how to cure my disease? And how long can I expect the treatment to last? What are the side effects of the treatment? What are you going to do to manage the side effects of the treatment if the treatments ever do come up? Are the side effects curable, or am I going to have to live with them? What's going to happen to the quality of my life if I get any of these side effects? What's going to happen to the quality of my life if I don't get any of these side effects? How much money are you going to profit from this therapeutic intervention? How much money is the insurance company going to profit from this intervention? And how much money is the hospital going to profit from this intervention? And I'd like to speak to 5 patients who have had this condition that you've treated, all in my same age bracket. I want to see how they're doing 5 years after the fact. Now, if every patient of every MD asked these 10 questions about everything, politely, kindly, interestedly, in the presence of a witness and a recording device, most people would not undergo the therapeutics delivered by their doctor. They wouldn't. They wouldn't do it. Because most people have no idea that the therapeutics brought to the table by the MD do not attempt to cure the condition. They do not attempt to cure the condition. They attempt to manage the condition. They're loaded with side effects. It's a gigantic for-profit runaway juggernaut. And the MDs push this stuff down your throat with the subliminal message that it's their way or the highway. More's the pity, ladies and gentlemen, when you believe your medical doctor. Come on back. I'm Dr. Glidden, answering the phones after these messages. Donna from my favorite part of Canada, Alberta, is up next. Hey, Donna, thanks for the call. You are live.
Yes, I'm calling for a friend, and she had a gallbladder out a few months back, has been on Ultimate Enzymes and some of the Trop 90 Ultimate nutrients. Recently, within about the last 10 days, it's been very painful for her to swallow. She's actually on Percocet for the pain. She says it feels like the food goes down about 6 inches, and then it kind of gets stuck. It feels like something's being torn. She has profuse sweating all the time. She's booked for a barium enema, or a barium swallow, I guess. This Friday, the last time she couldn't tolerate it, her blood work is normal. Nancy, are you there?
I am.
This is the girl.
All right. Hey, Nancy, Dr. Glidden here. Thanks so much for the phone call. All right. So were any of these symptoms present before the gallbladder surgery?
Not this one, no. Well, I have a hiatus hernia that has bothered me for a lot of years, but it's never been this severe.
And when you had milder symptoms of a hiatal hernia, were they of the same ilk?
No.
So this is a completely different category of symptoms. You've never experienced this stuff before ever in your life, right?
No, and especially the sweating. I wake up just bathed in sweat.
Yeah, that's a symptom of an infectious process. And how recently did you have the blood work done?
Actually, it's just in the last 10 days, and everything came back excellent, and that's why I'm so confused.
Yeah, and when you had the blood work done, were you sweating in the middle of the night at that time too?
Yes, and my blood pressure had spiked, and I had really severe leg pains. And
Okay.
they told me
What'd they tell you?
that the pain was either causing my blood pressure to go up or my blood pressure was causing the pain.
Oh, yeah, thank you very much, which basically
And
means
sent me home.
they have no idea, right? So, yeah,
No.
isn't that just great? Okay, well, look, it's not my place nor my intention over the phone here to diagnose things, right? But I can give you my perspective on what's happening here, certainly.
Okay.
All right, so how old are you?
72.
And are you taking any prescription meds?
I take thyroid.
Okay, which one?
Oh,
Is it Synthroid?
Synthroid, yes.
Okay, and are you taking selenium? Are you taking Youngevity's selenium as a standalone product?
No, I haven't.
And are you taking the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, the red or the orange powder?
No.
All right, so which Youngevity products were you taking?
Majestic Tropical.
Yep, Tropical Plus. How much?
I've been taking, well, I've got a little shot glass here, 2 tablespoons 3 times a day.
Wow, very good. So you go through 3 bottles of that in 1 month?
I am.
Okay, great. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to look up the symptoms of an overdose of Synthroid. All right?
Okay.
I want you to look up the symptoms of an overdose of Synthroid. And here, because I think this is what you're having. I think that your body, now because it's nutrified with the supplements that you've been taking, like a wise, well-informed person, the nutritional supplements in your body, the vitamins, the minerals, the amino acids, and the essential fatty acids are making the Synthroid work better. So even though you're taking the same dose of the Synthroid, your body is reacting to it much more efficiently, and so I think you've overdosed with Synthroid. I think that's what it is.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Well, it seems reasonable, and I don't know what else.
I know, right? I mean, so, it's either that or a voodoo curse, right? I mean, right? Because, it's not hot flushes of menopause, I can tell you that. It's not an infectious disease, because if you had an infection big enough, bad enough, and bold enough to produce night sweats consistently at night, then your blood work would have popped. You can't have that without that.
Right.
So since those two things are not on the table, then the only other thing that's possible here is a drug reaction. And so I think that that's what it is. And this is something that I talk about all the time. Ben Fuchs talks about this all the time. Actually, Ben Fuchs is the only other person I've ever heard talk about this on the radio. But when you take a prescription medication, and remember, we're not against drugs, right? It's not the drug, it's how it's used. It's not the gun, it's how it's used. That's our position. So when you take a prescription medication, it works by using the stuff that your body is made out of, right? I mean, drugs don't work through pixie dust in your body. Drugs work by upregulating certain biochemical pathways, all of which are made from vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and essential fatty acids. So when you take a drug, it burns through your nutrient reserves, and the drug companies know this, and if they were, really humanitarian people, then they would put vitamins and minerals and essential fatty acids in with the drug to replace the stuff that the drug's using up, but they don't, because if they did, they'd sell less drugs, right? So oftentimes when people get on board with really high quality absorbable medical nutrition like this stuff you're taking is, and I got to tell you, this stuff is this is really, really good medical nutrition. This is not like anything you can get at the health food store. No kidding. This is like the Lamborghini, the Ferrari of medical nutrition supplements. It will often cause your drug that you're taking to be have a much more stronger, persistent effect. So the first thing that I would do is look that up. You know, you can just do a Google search for that right now and see if what you're experiencing are the signs and symptoms of too much of that drug, and then call me back on the radio program tomorrow and tell me what happened.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you very much.
Well, you can thank me after it works. I appreciate it very much. Okay, great.
Okay.
You're welcome very much. Love Albertans. Love that part of Canada. Real down to earth, honest, hardworking, open-minded people. If everybody in the world was from Alberta, there'd be a lot less problems in the world. Let's go to LA right now and talk to Celeste. Hey, Celeste. Thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. I have a 10-year-old, and he's taking the Jerryman now in EFA, one for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But he's constantly, like, scratching his nose, like itch allergy, like, and blowing his nose. It's clear what's coming out. It's not. It's clear. Is it something I can do for that?
Well, I think if he registers as a Democrat, it'll all go away.
I'll do it in a minute.
I just lost my entire Republican audience. They just turned off the station. They said, "What are you talking about, Glidden?"
Be strong.
So is this runny nose thing something that he's been dealing with his entire life, or is this just, like a new thing he's only had for a couple of weeks?
Just a few days. Just started 2 days ago. I have daycare, too, so I have kids in and out. And, of course, they come in with their little things.
Yeah, well, you know what you should do? There's a really excellent longevity product. It's called Pure Works Foaming Cleanser. Pure Works Foaming Cleanser. They've got it as a soap. It's like a liquid soap that you can use, put in the bathroom. It's in a little pump bottle. They have it in a spray. And they also have a little foam hand cleanser thing. And I would get the foam hand cleanser thing. I would get one of the soap things. I'd put the soap thing in the bathroom at the daycare. And I would put a little squirt of this on the hands of every kid that comes into daycare and have them wipe their, or wash it around in their hands, because that stuff, it's not alcohol based, it's oil based. It doesn't dry and crack out the skin, and it has a safe biochemical in it which kills viruses and bacteria. I mean, that stuff even kills the flesh-eating bacteria MRSA. It's really good stuff, and this is the biggest vector of disease propagation in daycares is hands, right? Because, the kids will pick their nose or they'll sneeze into their hands, and then, they touch a doorknob or they touch the crayon or whatever, and now another kid touches the doorknob or the crayon. So now I don't know what the laws in your state are for having every kid in your daycare do that, and I don't know what the parents would think, but at least you can have your son do this, or your daughter, whomever it is, and you can do it yourself. And it'll seriously knock down this vector. If this is, like a virus or a bacteria, then what we do is say, well, look, man, we need to support the immune system. How much does your son weigh? Is it your son or your daughter?
My son.
How much does he weigh?
4 pounds.
Yeah, I would give him one killer biotic twice a day with food. 1 killer biotic twice a day with food. And for the next little while, until this goes away completely, I would really restrict sugar. I mean, I wouldn't give him any sugar. No dessert, no candy, no popsicles, no nothing that's got sugar in it. Even orange juice. I wouldn't let him have anything that's got extra sugar in it until this goes away. And I would also give him protein with every meal, because guess what? Our immune systems are made from protein. And it's a smart idea to eat a high-protein diet when you're trying to support the structure and function of your immune system. And sugar, too much sugar, which is super easy to do in the Western diet, too much sugar puts a little piece of your immune system called a macrophage to sleep. Puts it to sleep, kind of, sort of. So, drinking orange juice when you're sick is one of the stupidest things anybody can do, right? It really is. And that's also why chicken soup is so good because it's loaded with, Jewish penicillin, right? Which is, chicken. Chicken's a really easy to digest protein. So that's what I would do. Give him.
Good idea.
I'm sorry?
Is popcorn a good idea?
No, popcorn's not to help boost somebody's immune system, but as a snack, popcorn if you popped it in an air popper, not cooked it in oil, if you pop it in an air popper and put butter and salt on it, absolutely, positively, no problem whatsoever. You know what my favorite recipe is? Air popped popcorn, wheat-free tamari, which is kind of like a soy sauce, butter, cayenne pepper, and brewer's yeast. Oh my God, it tastes so good. Wow. Brewer's yeast, cayenne pepper, tamari, wheat-free tamari, and butter, lots of butter. Check it out. You're the great.
Oh, wow.
Stick around, folks. More to come. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health. Check out the live stream, the drgliddenshow.tv, the drgliddenshow.tv. Join the worldwide live chat. Let's stay in California and talk to Marcus. Hey, Marcus, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hey, Dr. Glidden, I wanted to talk to you about my mom. She's got diabetes and arthritis. I think it's osteoarthritis.
Yeah.
And osteoporosis. We've got her on the Healthy Heart and Brain Pack, and then she's also taking Sweeties, but she takes 3 capsules a day, and I'm wondering if she needs to take more because her blood sugar levels fluctuating between 108 and 130. Can't get it lower than 108.
Yeah, okay. So, how much does she weigh?
About 128 pounds.
Yeah, so for 4 weeks, I'd give her 3 bottles. I'd give her 3 bottles, which is 12 a day. And the Sweeties is best to give between meals unless the meal does not have phytates in it. So you're familiar with the whole phytate thing, right?
Yeah, it's like in brown rice and peanuts and kale and all. I've got your 10 bad foods list.
Yeah, okay. Well, so there's the phytates are not on the bad list because phytates in and of themselves are not going to hurt you like acrylamide will, right? Or like an oxidized oil will. But what a phytate does is it binds with minerals. So, So spinach and nuts and rice, I don't know if rice does, but beans do, coffee does. So if you're taking a mineral supplement into your body on top of a food that has phytates in it, you're not going to be absorbing as much as you think you are. And so remember, Marcus, with medical nutrition, the only time it fails is if you're not taking, the right Healthy Start pack, like you have a blood sugar issue and you're taking the Healthy Bone and Joint pack, or you're not taking enough, or you're not absorbing what you're taking. So to maximize absorption, of course, we have to eliminate wheat, barley, rye, and oats, and phytates. There's never any harm or foul at all in the first month or two with overdoing it with the secret sauce. And in this case, the secret sauce to optimize blood sugar metabolism is the Sweeties. So, yeah, man, I'd give her 12 a day, 4 and 4, for 4 weeks, and keep your fingers crossed.
Okay, very good. And then also about the osteoporosis, she just started taking glucogel, and we've got her taking about 12 a day, because she's got the 120 capsule bottles, so it lasts 30 days. But
no, that's a great dose. What I would do in that case is I'd give her extra calcium. I'd give her, if she can afford it, if it's in the budget, I'd give her 3 ounces of calcium a day.
Okay, and then awesome. And then I wanted to ask you to clarify some things about the 10 bad foods list, because there's another doctor that I listen to who talks about cruciferous vegetables and how they're good to help to lower estrogen in the body. So the sulfur combines with estrogen.
Yeah.
But then you guys advocate against it. And then I talked to Dr. Ben.
No, we don't advocate against it. We only advocate against cruciferous vegetables if you have an underactive thyroid.
Okay.
That's the only time I say no for cruciferous vegetables, because cruciferous vegetables downregulate the thyroid gland, right?
Right. Okay, and then one last question about coconut oil, because Ben Fuchs, talks about the benefits of coconut oil, but then I hear you and Dr. Wallach saying that coconut oil should be eliminated from the diet.
Well, yeah, Ben is wrong and I'm right. Well, it's as simple as that, because here's the deal. The benefits that you get from coconut oil, you can get from the omega-3, the omega-6, the omega-9 essential fatty acids. So, if you're on board with the 90 essential nutrients, then there's no reason to take coconut oil. And with everything else, right, it becomes a cost-benefit thing. I mean, so what are the benefits I'm going to get from whatever I'm eating, and what's it going to cost me to eat whatever I'm eating? Coconut oil is the slowest of all the oils to oxidize, but it still oxidizes. And when you cook with it, it oxidizes even faster, and our whole thing here is get as far away from anything that's oxidized as is humanly possible, because you don't want to eat that stuff even in small amounts. And if you're doing the 90 essential nutrients, there's no harm and no foul, and there's no even reason to consider any other type of essential fatty acid. That's the long and the short of it, Marcus. I appreciate your thoughts. I appreciate your intelligence. And guess what, folks? Hour 1 is up. But don't you worry, hour 2 right around the corner. Stick around. In and around the lake, ladies and gentlemen, mountains come out of the sky and stand there. Let's go to Ohio and see what's happening. For Dead in Ohio. Remember that song? Hey, Candace, thanks for the phone call. You are live. Come in, Candace. Hello, Candace.
Hello, Dr. Glidden.
What's happening, Candace? How are you?
I'm a little nervous.
Well, that's all right. I was nervous for a little while at one point in my life, but it went away.
Okay.
Nothing to be nervous about. We're all friends here. And besides, I'm not asking for your credit card or anything like that, am I?
Oh, I've already given that.
What's going on?
Well, I called to let you know that I have been getting results from the products.
Woohoo!
When I was 12 in 1960, that puts me at 65.
Yeah.
I was diagnosed with brittle bone disease because I had broken 13 bones by the time I was 12.
Holy moly macaroni, that's a lot.
I went on to have 7 children.
Oh, wow. Did your pelvis survive, or did it crack open like an egg every time you gave birth?
I could have them in 15 minutes. I was pretty good at that.
Yeah.
But I went on to develop degenerative disc disease and ended up being in bed like 95% of the time.
Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that.
I could read, which was fine because I'm a reader, and I could read 3 books at a time. Then I developed macular degeneration.
Oh, man, it just keeps getting worse.
And this developed so fast, and it went so bad that when you turned the lights out, I was totally blind, and if I was perpendicular to the window, I could see a little crack of light coming from outside.
Wow.
Now, I started on the products after my eye doctor told me that I had to have those injections of Avastin in my eyes for the rest of my life, 1 a month.
Yeah, right. Yeah, great. Yeah, thank you very much. Go blow smoke.
And I asked him, I said, is this going to make me better? And he said, no, it's not going to make you better. He said, but it might keep you from getting worse.
The operative word might.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And that was the last time I seen him.
Well, all right. So how are you now? And come on, I'm on the edge of my chair, man. What happened?
I found Dr. Wallach through Alex Jones, and my daughter told me that I was getting taller. And that's when I realized that the products were beginning to work.
Yeah, that's remarkable, isn't it?
So I went from what they had shrunk me down from 5'5.5" down to 5 foot.
Whew.
And then once I started regaining my height, now I'm back up to 5'4".
Wow.
the rim at the bottom of your dentures, where your teeth don't fit anymore.
Yeah.
That grew back.
Yeah, that's remarkable. You got to love that.
That grew back. I could not believe that.
Yeah, I know, right? I know.
And then, now here's my eyes now. In March, I realized that I should be on the heart and brain pack.
Yep.
And in April, the shadows started getting smaller and thinner. And they went from March, they were down to like a volleyball size in front of my eyes. And now they're down to an inch, and it's a pale yellow. I can almost see people through it.
Yeah, remarkable. Are you doing Are you doing the Ultimate Daily capsules?
No.
So you want to do? Well, here's what I would do if I were you. And first things first. I mean, awesome. I mean, isn't this just great? And all of this happened. And when did you start with Dr. Wallach's stuff?
June of 2012.
Wow. Man,
it's
you grew
slow progress, but I keep telling everybody you have to give a garden time. And I was almost dead. I was, at the point where I had my tuck-away pills in case I couldn't get up anymore.
Yeah, I get it. A lot of people do that and don't talk about it, and because who the heck wants to live like that anymore? And the sad fact of the matter here is, Candace, that every single thing that you were suffering from was rooted in chronic nutrient deficiencies. I mean, your body was just running out of the stuff it needed to maintain proper bones, proper joints, proper eyes. It's really that simple. You didn't have a bad gene. If any of this stuff that's bothering you now or that was bothering you historically was genetic, you would not have been able to get better because you can't recover from a genetic disease. You can't. You can't. So this is a remarkable testimony. Remember, what we like to do here is give the 90 essential nutrients appropriate for body weight to everybody. Eliminate the 10 bad foods. Everybody has to do that. And then we give a little extra support for the eyes, a little extra support for the bones or whatever. So in order to maximize and optimize the structure and function of the eyes, the recommendation is 1 bottle of selenium, Ultimate Selenium, per 50 pounds of body weight per month. 1 selenium per 50 pounds of body weight per month, not to exceed more than 4 bottles a month. And 1 bottle of Ultimate Daily capsules a month. If you add the selenium and the Ultimate Daily capsules into the bargain here, I would anticipate that you would see, pun intended, a faster turnaround with your eye health.
Well, I'm just amazed at everything I can't even tell you all of the surprise bonuses that I received.
I know, right? And this is the thing. Yeah. Better sleep, better mood, better bowel movements, better, better dreams, right?
Everything.
Yeah,
but
it's remarkable.
In November, I bought the CEO pack because I know that Social Security is going to get really ticked off when I'm 90 and still collecting.
I love your attitude. And this is exactly what's going to happen. Look at Dr. Wallach. I was just with Doc for 3 days in a row, and I got to tell you, man, he's 75 and he's putting me to shame. He's 20 years older than I am, and he's putting me to shame. I can't believe how much stamina and energy that guy has. It's really a testament to medical nutrition. So you just maintain the discipline, girl. Keep riding this horse. And I would anticipate, slow and steady positive improvement every month. But I know for sure that if you add the selenium and the Ultimate Dailies, things are going to turn around faster rather than slower for the eyes. So you go, girl.
Thank you very much.
Keep it up, man. Candace, it's people like you that make what we do worthwhile. Now, how about that, ladies and gentlemen? Lifelong, chronic, debilitating illnesses fading away slowly, like watching ice melt in the springtime. Unless, of course, you live in Alberta, where there's snow all the time. All right, well, maybe not all the time, but you understand what I'm saying. Right? This is it. This is the undiscovered country of science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition, and its results, like Candace has gotten and is continuing to get. It's because of her experience that everybody needs to know what we're up to. My book, the subtitle of my book, The MD Emperor Has No Clothes, is Everybody is Sick, and I Know Why. Candace didn't have a bad gene. She wasn't sick because of the aging process, and guaranteed that's what her doctors either told her or had in the back of their minds, because they are pedants who smell unduly of the lamp. They are brainiacs cowardly brainiacs who have no notion of thinking outside of the box. They believe what they were taught without question. They color inside of the lines all of the time, because even when their therapeutics fail, even when their therapeutics harm, even when their therapeutics bankrupt, even when their therapeutics kill, they do not have the mental integrity, the emotional morality to question their own therapeutics. They can't do it. They're cowards before, during, and after the fact. They are cowards before, during, and after the fact. They should be avoided. They should be fired. That's why this radio program is loosely titled Fire Your MD Now. Not because we're mean-spirited, but because why on earth would you bring an ailing body to the office of a medical professional who was not trained how to cure your illness? They're not trained how to cure your condition. They're not. And if you really do need surgery, then they're the go-to people. If you have a nasty infectious disease, syphilis or pneumococcal pneumonia, they can help you with that, right? They can cure that. They can cure infectious disease. But if you've got a chronic illness, forget it. You bring your body to the office of an MD, you're foolish, and you should not complain when things go from bad to worse. Quite frankly, even if you get a successful outcome, it's only momentary. So, you're hobbling around with a bad knee. The MD convinces you that you need a knee replacement surgery. You go and get the knee replacement surgery. You're in agony and all doped up on pain meds for about 14, 21 days. And then as they wean you off of the pain meds, if they didn't leave a scalpel or a sponge, in the joint, and everything is A-OK, you're going to feel better for 1, 2, 3, or 4 years. But then slowly the knee is going to start to fail. There was an article published years ago, over 14 years ago, and I believe it was the New England Journal of Medicine. Knee replacement surgery doesn't work. It doesn't work. It does not deliver long-term therapeutic results, nor does back surgery for, intervertebral disc disease. It does not provide long-term results. It's only short-term, momentary, fill-in-the-gap treatments. Extremely expensive. And this is why, you run across people, they've had 5 fake knees, right? 5 fake knees, for goodness sake. How does that happen? It happens because the treatment itself is the inappropriate one. It's an inappropriate treatment. It'll provide temporary solutions like painting over the mold in the basement, but that's not a good idea. It's better to figure out the source of the mold and eliminate it, but your MD is clueless about this. And nor do they want to know what to do. I mean, Dr. Wallach knows what to do. I know what to do. My colleagues know what to do. Why don't they? I'll tell you why. Because they're cowards. Before, during, and after the fact, they're closed-minded, and their hubris is so gigantic, it can fill the entire universe. And that's a big place. Stick around. Joyce from Wisconsin is up next. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, and this is Fire Your MD Now. Joyce from Wisconsin is up with a question about memory. If she can even remember that she made the phone call, that's a step in the right direction. Hey, Joyce, you are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden.
What's going on, Joyce?
Well, over the last 6 months, I'd say, I've been losing my memory as far as, like, your immediate recall, especially, or I might be doing something one day, and the next day I don't recall that I did that. It's kind of, unnerving.
If somebody jogs your memory, will you remember that you did it?
It takes a minute.
But you'll remember that you did it, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like you're an amnesiac where it's completely, there's no way I went to the movies with you yesterday, right? It's just if you're reminded and prompted, you'll remember it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. How long has this been going on?
Over the last 6 months, I'd say, and then a little bit more severe the last month or two.
Okay. And are you currently taking any of the longevity supplements?
No, I was, but then I was kind of taking care of my mother-in-law who had cancer, and so I ended up just with all the activity.
Yeah. Life comes rolling in, doesn't it? I mean, it's that's
I've
like one.
ordered it, so it should be here in a day.
Well, all right. That's like one of my favorite sayings. How do you make God laugh? Tell him your future plans, right? I mean, right. It's kind of crazy. So, right. So from our point of view, this could be as simple a thing as just kind of mental fog, which is across the board chronic nutrient deficiencies. I mean, it could be some type of, I doubt very much that it's a type of, early stages of dementia given your age. But, whatever the MDs want to call it, whatever a medical professional wants to call it really is irrelevant because it's your central nervous system in your brain that needs support and help. And that's easier than falling off of a potato truck. And so the recommendation here, of course, would be eliminate the 10 bad foods. You have to do that. You have to do that, okay? Especially oil in a bottle and fried food. Especially oil in a bottle and fried food. Now, here's a crazy story that I learned from Dr. Wallach just this weekend. Doc told me this years ago, but I forgot it, right? So it's appropriate to talk about it in this context. Ever seen somebody with a condition on their skin called liver spots? A lot of elderly people have it, like these little brown spots all over their body. Have you ever seen that?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't have anything to do with the liver. Those are called liver spots because they're the same color as your liver. If you were to slice your abdomen open, peel the skin back, and look at the liver, it's the same color as those little spots on the skin. And those little spots on the skin are rancid fat. It's fat in the skin. And fat is supposed to be in the skin. It's little fat molecules in the skin that have become oxidized by free radicals. Now, as many free radicals, oxidative damaged liver spots as somebody has on the outside of their body, they've got 100 times more on the inside of their body. And one of the way that pathologists guesstimate somebody's age is by looking to see how many liver spot-like things they have on their brain. Isn't that something? Yeah. So your brain and central nervous system are 75% cholesterol. That's what it's 75% cholesterol, 75% fat. So what we need to do here to optimize central nervous system function is optimize the body's antioxidant activity. The fire department of the body, we have to give the fire department a shot in the arm and some support so that you don't get oxidative damage in the brain or central nervous system, because that's just a big bad voodoo daddy. So how we do that is by eliminating oil in a bottle and fried food, taking selenium, 1 bottle of selenium per 50 pounds of body weight per month, 1 healthy brain and heart pack per 50 pounds of body weight per month, eating a diet that's high in cholesterol, and making sure you get anywhere between 50 and 100,000 ORAC antioxidant points into your body every day. Some of the nutritional supplements are going to have ORAC in it. Some aren't. You can get antioxidants in green tea and fruit, red wine. I did a really good webinar on antioxidants, by the way, so check it out as an insider on my website. That's what you need to do, Joyce. Go get them. Hey, here we come, over the hill to the rescue. That's Bonanza, right? Is that the Bonanza theme song? Yeah, they got it done in the Old West. Well, we're getting it done here in the New World, the undiscovered country of science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition, where knowledge is, in fact, more than power. Knowledge is health. And if you're suffering with a chronic disease, you don't have a bad gene, you have a bad doctor. Your MD may be the nicest person God ever created, but they don't know what's best for you. They only know what they've been trained in. And what they've been trained in is a type of medicine called allopathic reductionism. And sadly, allopathic reductionism argues that your body can't fix itself, that you are a coincidental amalgamation of biochemicals that has no self-regulating mechanism, and that it's only a matter of time until something fails. And when something fails, it's not the MD's job to fix it. It's the MD's job to march in with a synthetic man-made drug, the intention of which is not to cure the condition, but to exert a hostile takeover of the biochemistry of your body, suppress symptoms, and manage the illness. Which is why under the MD's care for chronic disease, we get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, and then we die. And because people don't know any better, this happens. And one of the reasons people don't know any better is because the industry has been monopolized by the pharmaceutical companies for the last 100 years, and they don't let anybody else play ball. I'm a licensed naturopathic physician, but I can only practice medicine in 17 states. What's up with that? Monopoly is what's up with that. It's a big bad voodoo daddy. One more reason to fire your MD now. David from Toronto, Canada, has a question about blood sugar. Hey, David, thanks for the call. You are live.
Well, hi, Dr. Glidden. I spoke to you a few weeks ago, but and I think I told you at that time that in January my A1C blood sugar was up 10.1.
Yeah.
And then in the middle of March, I went on the healthy blood sugar pack with Sweeties and so on. And at the end of April, my blood sugar, my A1C test was 6.1.
Boom! Boy, you got to love that. David, what did your MDs say when that happened? What'd they say?
Well, they just said, whatever you're doing, you did a good job.
Yeah, but did they want to know what you did? Nope. And doesn't that just twist your mind up into a little knot? I mean, doesn't that speak volumes?
But anyway, well, I had these little sores on my feet, and these sores, well, they told me I used to walk a lot, and I don't do much walking. And anyway, they told me to stay off my walks, and I did, and I stayed off my walks. I didn't walk for months. And then the sore was, they said they'd probably close a file on it they say, we'll probably close a file on this next week. And that was on a Friday afternoon. Well, then Monday, the nurse popped the bandage off of there, and the whole toe had turned black.
Yikes.
The whole toe had turned black, and there was red going up my leg and so on. So it was, they took me by ambulance up to the hospital, and anyway, they did all these tests and so on, and they did the circulation with the ultrasound and so on tests. And they anyway, I'm doing IVs with the antibiotics for the next 6 weeks.
Right.
So at least they say at least 6 weeks, and they say my little toe will probably, all that skin will it'll probably just fall off, or they might have to cut it off.
Well, I just there's a guy in Youngevity. His name is Buck Steffens. And he had a similar condition. He was sent home to die because his blood sugars were so bad, and he had gangrene in both feet. The MDs wanted to cut his feet off, and he said, "Well, if you sent me home to die, what good is it going to do to cut my feet off?" And so he refused the surgery, right? right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he heard Wallach got on board with the program, and within 6 months, the gangrene's gone, the blood sugars are normal, and he's out of the woods.
Well, I was in the hospital for about a little over 2 weeks, and while I was in there, of course, I didn't have my supplements or anything there.
Yeah.
But my blood sugar was still. They took me off of the sugar list at the hospital.
Right. I thought it was genetic, right? Yeah, that's crazy. So look, are you doing the Ultimate Daily capsules?
I am. I'm doing 6 of those a day.
How much do you weigh?
200 pounds. Well, 190 around.
Okay. So because this is extreme, right? In addition to the 90 essential nutrients, selenium, I would do.
I'm doing that too.
I would do 12 a day of the Ultimate Daily capsules.
Guys.
4, 4, and 4. Okay.
And most of the bottles have more than the whatever they. Say.
Yeah. Okay. So do 12 of those a day. 4, 4, and 4. Get some colloidal silver.
Yeah.
And spray it onto that toe every couple hours. Spray it on. Is it still all bandaged up?
Oh yeah.
And do they tell you to take the bandage off and dress the wound every day, or what they tell you to do?
Oh, no, the nurse comes in to do that. Well, yeah, you see, I also don't see.
Yes, you don't see. Okay, so when the nurse comes in, have her put spray colloidal silver onto it before she wraps it in a fresh bandage, and do 12 of the Ultimate Dailies a day. 12 of the Ultimate Dailies a day. And man, David, I don't even want you to be in the same room as wheat, barley, rye, oats, oil in a bottle, or fried food.
Yeah,
you really,
I've done that.
Okay, good man. So
well, I've done that, but and I told you before, there were a lot of objections to me going on the.
Yeah, well, they're.
You know, I'm 70 now. My wife is almost 70, and when you've grown up all your life doing stuff,
right. I know well, I guess it's not easy, but you can teach an old dog new tricks, right?
Well, I went off it, and my blood sugars, everything went down. I don't eat breads. I don't eat salad oils, salad dressings. I don't eat any of that stuff. On a salad, I put balsamic vinegar or lemon juice,
And you're salting your food so that it tastes good, right?
Oh yeah, I'm eating salt. And
Great.
oh yeah, they got me on blister packs of medicine, and one of them in there I found out is an anti-cholesterol drug. I think it's Lipitor, and I told him I don't want that anymore.
Good man. Well, that makes you the smartest man in Toronto, David. Add the Ultimate Dailies. Bump that up. That's what I would do if I were you. And get the nurse to put colloidal silver on the toe liberally. Give me a call back in about 4 weeks for the report, and I will look forward to it. From Toronto to Los Angeles, let's say Celeste is back, I think. Is this her second time today? I think it is. Hey, Celeste, welcome back.
Hey. I had another lady. I was listening to the man that had gangrene, and this is what she had. But yesterday, they cut the leg off.
Yeah, well, right. Yeah, because that's when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it was down to, it had eaten down to the bone, and it was just black. And she's got diabetes, and she's bipolar, schizophrenic, high blood pressure, neuropathy.
Well, let me tell you my experience with schizophreniform. Number one, if you think that the conventional medical treatment for chronic physical diseases is bad, the conventional medical treatment for psychiatric diseases is like hell on earth. Right. Those people are of the belief that consciousness is a function of biochemistry, that your consciousness itself is created by biochemistry. And that once the body dies, consciousness dies, and, it's all over, which is extremely hypocritical if you're a Christian or if you're a Muslim or if you're a Hindu or if you're of any religious ilk whatsoever. I honestly don't understand how psychiatrists can have any religious belief whatsoever, because it is 180 degrees opposite of what they're trained medically to believe. I don't know how they handle that cognitive dissonance, but apparently there's no, they're unconflicted there, and I just don't get it. But my experience with people with schizophrenia, as you know, who have come to me as private patients, is that it's virtually impossible to get them to take supplements. They don't. They just, it's not part of their thing. In a perfect world, there would be a holistic, hospital that's focused on mental disease. It would be staffed by caring, educated, humanistic healthcare practitioners. These people would be in a lockdown facility, which was humanitarian in nature. And you would make sure that they eat the right foods. You would make sure that they take their nutritional supplements every day, the same way that they make sure they take their psych meds when they're in the psych ward. But sadly, those places don't exist. Those are extreme cases, and those really are the only cases where it's outside of our ken to be able to make a difference. Not because nutritional supplementation can't make a difference, but because people that are in that boat are so far offshore that they can't hear our cries.
So what will we do for that? I mean,
you can't do anything for it. I mean, because I don't care. It doesn't matter what I tell you to do. She's not going to do it. So it's a non-starter. It's irrelevant. And remember, Celeste, right? This is not. We're not helping people to become physicians. We're helping people to understand basic foundation medical nutrition support. So it's a brain issue, right? Central nervous system issue. So we give the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. Eliminate the 10 bad foods, the intention of which to support and promote the structure and function of the brain, in this case the brain. And whenever we're doing that, a diet that's high in cholesterol and, is liberal in its use of salt are also good ideas. So this is really the best way to understand that. You don't want to complicate things too much. Just eliminate the 10 bad foods and get people started with the appropriate healthy pack for their body weight. Remember, in my camp, everybody gets selenium. Everybody gets selenium. The recommendation, 1 bottle per 50 pounds per month, not to exceed more than 4 bottles per month. You're the greatest, Celeste. Keep up the good work in Los Angeles. Your community needs you more than you know. Going to be answering a question from our newest member from, I believe, the Spanish community, Sadie, who's in the chat room right now. When we come back, stick around. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, and this is Fire Your MD Now, and I am as serious as a heart attack when I say that. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Peter Glidden here. I hit the wrong button, so my soundboard guy was, I think, having a mini heart attack. Sorry about that. This is the final segment on today's program, Fire Your MD Now. We have a live video stream at thedrgliddenshow.tv. There are 67 people from all around the world watching. And one of our newest members, Sadie, is in the Spanish community, and she has this question. All right, here we go. Hi, Dr. Glidden. My name is Sadie. I just started Youngevity, and I want to sell to the Spanish community. We are a group in the Spanish community area. But I want to ask you, my mom has a herniated disc. Can I tell me what is good for her? She's 190 pounds. She has high cholesterol and high blood pressure and a thyroid problem. Well, she does not have high cholesterol because there's no such thing. Well, there is such a thing as a high cholesterol, but until it's over 400, I don't even get nervous. I like to see cholesterol be over 280, be between 280 and 350. Those are good cholesterol numbers as far as I'm concerned. We believe that high blood pressure is mostly related to not enough calcium and not enough magnesium. And it's the same with herniated discs. It's not enough calcium, not enough magnesium, not enough stuff for the intervertebral discs to grow. By the way, calling in, I'm not going to have enough time to answer Ann from Wisconsin's call, but she has a question about a torn ACL ligament. And it's the same thing here. So what both of these people need, what Ann from Wisconsin's person needs, maybe it's Ann herself, and what Sadie's mom needs is bone, ligament, and tendon support. And Sadie gets a 2-for-1 because when we give bone, ligament, and tendon support, we also support healthy blood pressure. And so that's kind of like never fail fudge. So the recommendation here on both accounts to support and promote healthy ligaments, cartilage, and circulation is one healthy bone and joint pack. Imagine why we called it that. One healthy bone and joint pack, and 2 Ultimate Selenium. One healthy bone and joint pack, and 2 Ultimate Selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month, per 100 pounds of body weight per month. And 1 bottle of Cal Toddy. It's a SuperLife product, which is a subsidiary of Youngevity, a SuperLife liquid nutrition product called Cal Toddy. It's C-A-L, like calcium toddy. It's a liquid calcium. 1 bottle of Cal Toddy per month. So that's 1 healthy bone and joint pack and 2 selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month, and 1 bottle of Cal Toddy per month. Don't even look at soda pop. Eliminate all 10 bad foods and salt your food so that it tastes good. This program goes a long way towards giving your bones and your joints and your ligaments and your tendons the nutritional support that they all need in order to rectify the situation, optimize their structure and function, right? We just had the caller a little while ago. She grew 4 inches. She regrew 4. She got 4 inches of her height back. And the only way that you can do that is by supporting and promoting a healthy intervertebral discs. And when you support and promote healthy intervertebral discs, because everything is connected, you're also supporting ligaments and tendons and bones and joints and organs and, everything. And this is the beauty of medical nutrition, because it's just not, a joint support program or a kidney support program or a herniated disc program or a blood pressure program, because remember, we don't treat disease. This is holistic medical nutrition par excellence. This is holistic, and based upon the foundation belief that our bodies know how to fix themselves. Our bodies want to fix themselves, but our bodies need our help. We need to, drink purified water. We need public sanitation systems to remove our sewage appropriately. We need to wear clothes when we expose our bodies to the elements. Well, guess what? There's one more thing we need to do. Give the body the 90 essential nutrients that it so desperately needs. Give your body a chance to optimize its structure and function. You have no idea what you're missing. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Get with your Youngevity representative and get with the person who told you about this program to find out how you can work with us. And if you came to us all by your lonesome, 855-347-3696 or drglidden.com. God willing and the creek don't rise. I'm back in the saddle tomorrow. Till then, live long and prosper.